Hi everybody. Today we're going to put together this little paper stage from the parts that you've got in your envelope. So here's how it's going to work. First of all, let's unpack the envelope. Let's see what's inside. So as you pull things out, you're going to find that there are some bamboo skewers, which are these little bamboo sticks here. There are a bunch of pieces of white paper. Some of them are printed and some of them are plain. So what I'm doing right now is I'm separating the plain pieces. I'm going to put those back in the envelope because those are for making the scenery and the puppets. We won't need those today. The bamboo skewers are also for making scenery and puppets, which we're not doing today. Today we're only assembling the puppet stage itself. So I don't need those. I'll keep out the other thing that's in there, which are the paper clips. These paper clips might be handy for putting things together to hold them while the glue dries. So I've got my printed sheets and my paper clips and other things that I have. I have a pair of scissors, which will be very important. I have a ruler that may or may not be important. I'll show you what you can use that for, but you don't need one necessarily. And then I also have tape, which is handy, and two kinds of glue. Now, you don't need all these kinds of things to put things together. You'll need either glue or tape or the stick glue, so the glue stick. So you need at least one of those to put all this together. Now let's look at our pages. We have one page which is instructions. This is showing you how to put the whole thing together, and that's exactly what this video is also showing you. So we'll have that, and then we also have the 3 pages which contain all the pieces of the stage, which we're going to put together now. We're going to start with the back of the stage, but before we start with the back, look at the page that says stage floor. Or actually, look at the page that says stage front. That one's better. You'll see that there's some cases there's dotted lines, and in some cases there's solid lines. The dotted lines mean you fold it, you don't cut it. And the solid lines, usually with a little pair of scissors shown cutting it, that shows you that you cut that part out, you don't fold it. So that's important to remember. Solid line you cut, dotted line or dashed line you fold. So now for fun, let's just start with the page that says back of stage. That's a simple one. And it's got, as you can see, there's a line on this side and a line on that side. That's going to be this piece right here, the back of the stage. So the lines on the 2 sides are dotted. That means we fold them. So one way to fold a line is probably a way you've often folded things, which is you bend it over and then kind of smooth it all down like that. Another way, which is why I have this ruler here, if this is handy, helps you fold a nice straight line, is you can put the ruler right on the dotted line and then take the piece of paper and just run your hand along, and that makes a nice straight fold right on the dotted line, and get that folded. So now actually what we really want is for these folds to be going the other way. We want them toward the back, toward the part where there's no writing, because this part's going to be the inside back of the stage right here. And so we don't want any writing there. Otherwise, you would have this writing in the back of your stage, and you don't need the writing there. So the writing can go on the back. But the writing has instructions on it. So that's what that's for. So actually now, this piece is all done. Wasn't that easy? Now let's go to a trickier piece, and that is the stage floor. If you look at the stage floor, there's dotted lines that go all the way around, plus there's some cut lines. So let's go ahead first and do our folds. We'll save the cutting for later. So I'm going to use the ruler And I'm going to make each of these 4 folds, starting with this side, do that, and then go to the other side, make this fold. Now you'll notice that there's little parts down here that are going to be cut. I'm folding them now, but I'm going to cut them later. It's easier to cut them after they're folded, I think. You could do it the other way too, I suppose. All right, and then fold this part. And then folding this part. So now I have folded 4 folds all the way around. Now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to look for 4 very short little cuts that I'm going to make. Those are the solid lines that have the scissors pointing to them. And it says cut from here to here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut from there to there, starting on the outside to cut in because that's the easiest way to cut. I'll cut this, cut that. Like that. I don't know if you can see this well. Cut that. Now, if I fold my pieces up, you can see that it makes it into a little box. And so with the writing on the inside of the box, and the part that's actually going to be the stage floor is all nice and clean and white, because that was the back of the paper. So now I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that you can put this together, because we'll go ahead and glue this so that it can be drying while we're building the next part. So one way is with white glue. I'm going to put a little white glue, not too much. If you put too much white glue, it takes a long time to dry. So I'm going to put it on this tab right here. And then I'm going to take that tab and put it up against the paper right there. And because white glue takes a little while to dry, I'm going to use a paper clip just to hold it. See how I've put a paper clip right on there? That right there, that's just the paper clip is holding the glue while it dries. We'll take the paper clip off when it's done. Now, if you want to use a glue stick, that's fine too. Then you put the glue on the tab, same way you did with the white glue, only using the glue stick, and then that gets glued just like that. We're making our box slowly but surely. If you want to, with the glue stick, you can put a paper clip on, that'll hold it while the glue dries. And then I'll show you another way. You could take a piece of tape. This is an easy way, and it doesn't require any drying. And you just tape the tab over. And we have one more to do. I'll just do the tape because that's quick and easy. So now I've created a little kind of, it's almost like a box lid. And we're waiting for those glues to dry. And the tape is all set, but that will be the floor of our stage. So we can set this aside now while we move on to the hardest, the most challenging part, which is our stage front. The reason this is challenging is because for the stage front, we have to cut a big opening in it so that people can see your show. So in order to cut the opening, we've got to somehow get our scissors in here and cut on this solid line that goes all the way around. We can't cut in from the side. Well, you could, but then you'd have to tape it back together. That is a way to do it. But I'm going to show you a couple of ways to do this. One is you can take your scissors, and we need to get our scissors into this. So you could take your scissors. See how I'm sort of drilling a hole in with the scissors? I drilled right through the paper. That's a pretty easy way to do it. And I did it right down here in the corner so it doesn't mess up any of my lines. I just did it on the white part. Right down here in the corner. There's no writing or lines around it. You can also use a pencil or a pen to poke a hole in as well. You only need one hole, but I'm just demonstrating. You just need to be able to get your scissors in there. And once you get them in, then you can start cutting. See how once I get one part of the scissors in, I can begin to cut. So the first thing I want to do is cut out that big rectangle by following the lines all the way around. Just cutting a really nice, clean opening for the stage. And I'm going to end up with this piece of paper left, this one, which has two other stage pieces in it that we're going to cut out. And it has our holes that we poked in and our place where we started our scissor cut. So it's a little messed up, but that's okay because the only parts we need of this are those two. So I could go ahead and cut those out. Those are the two upper sides of the stage. I'll cut these two. Clean off our scraps here so you can see the work table better. So now what I have left is the big front with the opening and these two small pieces, which you'll see there was a cut around them, but there's also a dotted line down the center of each of these, which means these are ones that we're going to fold. So let's go ahead and fold those just right in half. That's what we're doing. We're making a fold so they look like that. They're just folded in half. We'll fold them so the writing's on the inside. That way the writing won't show when we put our stage together. I tried to make this so that the writing doesn't show anywhere when it's done. Well, it'll show on the back or the bottom, but not in the stage parts. Okay, so we'll set those aside. Now we've got this piece right here, and you'll notice on the sides of this, there is a thing that says fold dotted line. So we have another fold there. So I'm going to take my ruler and put it down here to make a fold. Just fold that up. And then I'll show you another way you can do a fold. If you have a piece of wood or a table or a piece of furniture that has a hard kind of sharp edge on it, here's another way you can do the fold, which is to lay the dotted line down right on the sharp edge and then just sort of rub your hand along. And that's another way you can make a fold. I just thought I'd show you that just in case that's easier. Now these folds are going to end up going toward the writing so that they're folded in toward the writing side and there's no writing on the front of the stage. So now we have our stage front. Let's get our stage bottom back. And I'm going to take this paper clips off because hopefully the glue is dry enough. Put this together. So our stage front is going to go right on the front of the stage, like that. And then guess where our stage back is going to go? You guessed it, on the back. Right on the back like that. And then these are the upper sides. We got two of them stuck together here. And they're going to go right up there to complete our stage. So those are all going to be glued on just like I've shown you so far. But before we do that, there's one other thing I'm going to do, which is on these two upper pieces, the folded pieces, I'm going to cut 5 little notches in them. Now this may seem mysterious, They're very small notches, and you'll learn what they're for later on. But just for now, spread them out kind of evenly. It's not too important, but see how I've put the two pieces together? That's because I want my notches to line up with each other. And I'll show you in just a second what these notches are for, but right now I'm just cutting 5 notches all along the whole thing. So can you see, put it against the green here, you can see the notches, how they line up with each other. And when I bring this stage over, you see how these have the little notches in the top? That's because when we take a bamboo skewer, which I put away in here, and put a piece of scenery on it, like for example, this scenery from the Three Billy Goats Gruff, then when we slide this scenery in, we can put the bamboo skewer right in the little notches. And that will keep the scenery from sliding around. The notches hold it. So the notches have to face up so that the scenery can go in. So that's what that's for. But let's go back to our construction. It's time to put this all together. So I'm going to now take some glue and put it on the bottom of this, all the way both on the bottom and the bottom sides, so that I can glue that onto here. And my paper clips could be very handy now for holding this while the glue dries. I'm going to put one on either end so that is nice and tight. And then I'm going to put a couple of paper clips right on the front here just to hold that while the glue dries. That'll keep it all together. And then let's do the back. And let's say instead of, maybe instead of the glue stick, you're using the white glue. So I'll use white glue on the back. You put a little white glue. Again, you don't want to put big fat globs of white glue because that actually makes it weaker and take longer to dry. Now I wasn't looking when I did this, so I put the writing upside down on the back because I put the glue on the top, but it doesn't matter at all. It can go upside down or right side forward. It really doesn't matter. I'll put a few paper clips to hold that while it dries. Now I've got the back and the front. Make sure your front paper clips didn't move while you were getting your back. And the only thing left is to put the 2 side pieces on, which are going to go up here and connect the front and the back together. So when you cut your little notches, remember you cut them so that you were cutting both of them at once, so all the notches would line up. So you want to make sure that you keep them lined up when you put them on. So I'm going to remember that that one goes that way and that goes that way. So I'm going to put a little, here we'll use the stick glue for this. Put a little glue stick on there and there. And if you want to, you can just glue the whole thing together because that's fine. It's going to be one piece. So then you want to put it on the front and then pull the back forward. It might need to be pulled forward so that it fits. And that's that piece. And then this piece, I'm going to put glue all the way along there and all the way along there. Put this on here. And you can see again, I need to pull the front forward so it fits in. And I have this on both sides. I don't know if you can see that. But so the top piece I'm putting on goes around the front. So it's got one part of it's on the inside and one's on the outside, which makes it really nice and strong and it makes it grip really well. And now I have made my stage. And all I'm doing is waiting for the glue to dry, and it will be all, once the glue is dry, it'll be all ready to make a show on. So there you go. Next video will be how to make your puppets and characters.